Boom.
Haha. Can you see me now?
No.
No?
Aha.
Boom.
There we go.
We're in action. All right.
Wow.
Hey. Yeah, as I said, I had to commandeer my kid's room, so you have to bear with me on that. But at least I have some type of a decent setup to work with. I mean, I don't have the office here, but I figured I'd just commandeer his wing of the house for the meeting.
Well, he's got a pretty good little setup.
Oh, he's so spoiled, it ain't even funny. I
Okay.
mean,
Let's kick right off with where you live, your family, your life right now.
well, I live in Daphne, Alabama. We have been here for just over 10 years. Um, in the house is me, my wife Lisa, and my son Colin. Colin's 20. Um, and yeah, me and Lisa are old. We're originally from Rock Island, Illinois,
Okay.
Quad Cities.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So you guys are old. You got a 20-year-old. Um, he's not a pool player.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I've never let my kids kind of dabble into anything with the billiard world just due to the fact that if you're good, have talent, anything at all, I don't want to refer to it as a disease, but Sean, you know exactly how it is when you get that little bit of a bite or whatever. You're one of us forever, no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, you're stuck like Chuck.
Yeah, you snap off your first little Friday night tournament and then
Yeah,
it's over.
yeah. Then yeah, you have that taste forever, and so but the few times that excuse me that we have had a table in the house or anything like that, he's always like beating balls around or whatever, and he's a southpaw, as well as I do. They tend to pick the sport up quicker than us righties. I don't know or understand and never have understood why that is, but it's something. Most left-handed players have an affinity for the sport.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if it's a mirroring thing or if it's part of the brain that they use, but everybody that's a left-handed player just looks like a shooter or just natural.
Absolutely. The stance, everything about them tends to come a little bit more natural, it seems, for those of them that I have been around. And
What about
it's
you? Can you play left-handed?
um I've always been very fortunately blessed, I guess, because yeah, I play pretty good left-handed. It's something
You're
where when it
knocking
comes up
yourself
in
right
in
here.
tournament under heat or whatnot, I've just never even thought about it. You just shoot it left-handed. But coming from the household that I originally came from, um, I've always been skilled with the bridge too. But that's because that's something that anybody that was Mark Wilson knows, which I was not, but just being around things, you absorb stuff. Every one of them guys knows how to use a bridge properly.
Yeah, well, can we talk about that for a second on the bridge while we're talking about it? I know a
Talk
lot.
about anything. I figured because you didn't send me a question thing on Sunday that this was just going to be assassination. I'm all right
He's
with it.
gonna be off the cuff. And
Yeah.
with us today, he's taking care of his mother. She's in the hospital today, so I just
I'm
told him,
sorry. I wish them the best.
yeah, I think everything's gonna be fine. But so I want to say ask something about the bridge because I learned this year to line up the bridge with the shot, right? And
Mm-hmm.
to lay your stick over it and then use, instead of trying to see your cue going straight, use the crutch or the bridge as a guide so you can see the cues moving over each other.
Me personally, my my bridge would probably be at a 45-degree angle or out. And everything with the bridge for me came from under my chin.
Okay.
Where you're kind of shooting. Well, that looked weird, but kind of like that. So yeah, um but it gives you a different view of everything, and And also it was God rest his soul, Larry Neville, which I grew up around Larry, and we were very blessed with the players that we had in our area growing up, which Larry lived about an hour and a half from us. But there was never anybody that straight down, sideways. Now all of a sudden we're up and cocked, and yet everything the man did was still so straight. And well, we all know that he had more power than any walking human that's ever breathed there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so did you okay. All right, so enough about the bridge thing. I just had to ask.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's talk about people know you from winning tournaments. They know you for being a fierce or a tough competitor, like mental game, strength. People on a bar table, you might go for the pick of the litter in any tournament.
After not playing for 2 years or whatever, I think I'll help shorten that up for you. Yeah, I'm definitely known for my fight grind, and anymore. I think a lot of people realize that it wasn't just a grind of being slow or whatnot, because it isn't always that way. It's more the fact that my self-discipline, um, I yeah, it isn't normal.
Okay. Well, your process for shooting a shot, it looks the same every time. But it's methodical, to say the least. You're not just
Yeah,
shooting from the hip or, just flopping your cue up there. You go through about the same set of motions like a golfer or any
right. It doesn't matter if like referring to golf or whatever. If you're hitting a rough shot out of the sand, or if you're knocking a 2-inch putt down. My approach is always the same, and I think a lot of that has to come with failure. I've had a lot of instances in my life where I coulda, shoulda, or whatever, and I'm not going to say I took something for granted, but maybe didn't address something with the same effort that I addressed something else, and then all of a sudden, boom, the nightmare has happened, and you have to, us as pool players, we tend to relive that stuff for maybe weeks after having them implosions. And
Oh, you don't just drop it right then and move on.
well, as I've gotten older, I've learned how to do that much better. But definitely younger, yeah, that stuff carries with us. I still have moments in my career, my life, that I can even think of now that just make me want to cringe. And doing away with a lot of that has a lot to do with the high discipline, and I don't want to call it repetitious or robotic, because my stroke isn't. It's I was very fortunate to be blessed with some pretty good physical abilities. But back to the discipline, so it didn't matter if it was something simple or something rough. I give it all the same respect that every shot deserves. And
Yeah, I would say that would be a good. You respect every shot, that's for sure. And
right,
it's because
I
the
try to.
pain you're saying of the past of, you know, skipping a step or something.
Right. I mean, but this is basically aiming at any viewer or anybody that ever uh watches this or whatnot. It How many times you yourself, it doesn't matter who's great, who's not, who's this, how many times have you not gave the correct respect to a shot, and then, oh my God, what I do, as you're walking back away from the table? Every one of us have done it, and all of us have the moments like that where, like I said, we may still be thinking about it.
Yeah.
I've gotten better with being able to leave that stuff out there and go back to my chair and not think, because it's going to affect my next turn to the table. um it, and boy, can it. So it's something that you have to learn how to forget. But in our sport, it really it really don't work that way as much as I see in other sports where you can drop something like that. Because in pool, I don't know how many times I've seen it with players, not just myself, with other players where, ooh, that ball looked good, or ooh, that felt right, and off to the races we go, to where, and it probably happens more with your higher end, world class players than us, or other people, or whatever. But we all have the moments to where, oh, that felt good, and it's that immediate confidence that it instills into us mentally and physically that helps us. Oh, I'm trying to stomp on your throat now, instead of thinking, oh, okay, well, this is what I'm supposed to do, and I don't feel right, or I don't this, or I don't that. And I think that's one of the things that may confuse people about me when you're looking at me up there, why, where you want to hit me with a 2x4 because I've stood up on this ball 6 times, or I have. Well, when you bend over and you're uncomfortable, or you bend over and you have this thought go through your head of, oh, this isn't going to be good, or oh, I don't like that, or I don't this, or I don't that. Well, you have to convince yourself that, okay, this is where my commitment is. This is what I'm going to do. And then once you get yourself on that thought plane or pattern, or whatever, now I can address it. So yeah, maybe it did take me 6 times of standing up and down, and twice where you thought, oh, he's going to shoot, and on the backstroke of the last stroke, I've done stopped and stood up, and I'm looking, and now I'm rechalking, resetting my feet, redoing everything that I can do, because I'm just not willing to give in. And that has a lot to do with it, where are you willing to just say, F it and swing away, or, are you going to give all that you can give, give your best effort? And I'm not saying that some of these people or have that F it attitude, or whatever, with some of the things that they do, like somebody from where you live, which I have just the utmost respect for. The guy's just a super monster, is a Shane McMahon, or Jesse Bowman, where I'm from, where their natural vibe, they're just natural, whatever you wish to, God-given, whatever, they can do that. They can shut down and have the purity of raw. I'm just going to give it to you. And all of us aren't built that way. It's kind of like me and you had a conversation in Shreveport about, what I have in my bag ain't what you got in your bag. And you don't have in your bag what, John Gabriel has in his, or, that's the way it is. And pool is about doing the best you can do with what you got, not confusing yourself and thinking, oh, I seen so-and-so do this. Yeah, well, I watched Efren do that. And guess what, bud? I can't do that. And I ain't even going to think about doing that under the heat, I mean, how many times have you thought, shooting a ball or whatever, that, oh, I'm going to do this because I know it can be done like this, that, or the other. Well, that may not be the best thing for you. You can do this, and this is what you should do, and I mean, I've been victim of it before. I don't know how many times in my life where, oh, I know that, and I have the monster ability to do that, but it ain't right for me. It isn't the right decision to make in that moment. And all of a sudden, oh, it cost me, maybe not just that game, maybe the set, maybe the tournament, because it rolls over into something else. And now I'm hostile with myself, or whatever, just to where it isn't something that's good for me.
Well, let's see if I was paying attention, because you taught me a couple things in a real short amount of time there in Shreveport. One, we're going to talk about the grip here in a minute, but the other one was definitely the mental game. But you talked about how players have different styles, and you gave an example, not just of the style of play, or even the shot that we choose to shoot, but how each player, what their style is, or what their process is for handling heavy pressure. So, and you gave the clear as day example to me. You said, Sean, you can look over at Shane McMahon, and he's under heavy pressure and he just looks la-di-da-di-da, and that's him, but that's not you. And if you're trying to do it like anybody, then the way you handle pressure, you're going to fail. So I'm learning how to how to find.
Right. And I also gave a military reference in there with you because I know that you have a military background. So, to me, with you having that background, I know that you are detailed. You like things to be formed properly and to go in with a plan on everything. And look, like we had mentioned, Shane or Jesse, where I don't know how many times I've watched under mass pressure for both of them guys because they've won so much and play so great that looking at an end game or whatever and seeing, oh, there's that, they can do this or that and they're out, this, and all of a sudden they've ripped banked at a ball that they don't need to or whatever, and yep, straight in the hole, and oh, now I can run out with the sock. And I remember asking Jess one time about it, and he looked at me and said, what are you even talking about? And it dawned on me that to him it don't mean anything like that. He's there to, like I said before, try to step on your throat. And so some of them thoughts don't cross. But here's the thing, we all aren't blessed like that. We all aren't blessed with some of the freeness of thoughts or repercussion for what if something goes wrong, because that to most pool players, we're thinking that a lot. Well, if I hit this ball like this, or if I do that, what if, oh, I could get bad here, or I could this. Them guys, they never have that thought. I promise you that is not something that is renting space in their brain like it does me. And then me and you were talking about being under mass pressure in certain situations that cripple regular human beings. And when I say cripple, make it to where, and I've felt this before, I don't really even want to get out of my seat so I can embarrass myself. And I'm not being funny. I mean, I've felt that. And so what I did, trying to become a better player or whatever, was to try to, go back to my, second grade teacher when she wrote KISS up on the board and said, keep it simple, stupid. So I built little things into myself. And like you were talking, the grip, which we'll probably get to that here in a little bit or whatever, talking about everything comes from my index finger and this, that, and the other, how my stance is this, how's that, how I can simplify certain things to where when I'm under that, oh, hey, Jamie, you're okay, right? Yeah, I'm okay. All right, let's go. But I need places to start for when things don't feel right, or feel like, I constantly use this phrase, and that is when things feel alien, where it's not out of body experience, but it's, you get up there and things feel a little different. You're a little sweaty, or your hands sticking more to your cue, or whatever it is. And I have to have these little fake placements of things to give me something to go to. Because like me and you talked about, the number one thing that most people always go to is stay down on the ball. Well, of course, stay down on the ball, dummy. But what about my arm feels like it weighs 47 pounds and the cue is stuck to my hands like I got Gorilla Glue on it? It, I mean, I have to have other little things built in to help at least get me moving to where, I can start to feel like I can attack. I don't know. Sorry, I'm rambling, I guess.
Hey, I mean, this is all about pressure, and I think that at some point all the players know how to make the shots. They you could almost predict the shot they're even going to shoot, and they may shoot it a little different, but they can all get out. They can all play safe. That pressure, that's the difference. So I think that's the next level for me. It's got to be the next level for anybody, is
Oh, absolutely.
pressure.
And there's differences in pressure. There's that funky pressure of the first match of a tournament or whatever, where you know things are swirling a little bit and you're trying to get yourself right, compared to it's not the same pressure in second, third set or whatever. Or, oh, I'm playing so and so, where yeah, I've got to play great. I've got to this, I've got to that. Now we put extra pressure on ourselves. I mean, how many times have we watched two great players play and you're like, Jesus, he's playing like, and in reality, no, he's got extra thoughts going through his head that he wouldn't against you, because it isn't just about no fear, it's about the repercussion of, uh-oh, oh man, I didn't even hit that ball bad, or that's what's going through my mind sometimes. Man, I hit that safe great, and he kicked it in two rails and hit me with four, and now I'm this, it just, it can break you sometimes, and make you think some funny things, and I think that goes back to, like we were talking discipline or whatever, and giving respect to every shot and whatever. I don't care what the score is. I don't care what's going on. I don't care about anything. The only thing I'm in control of is the shot that is in front of me. I'm going to give it its true deserve, and respect it, and try to do the best that I can do with it.
Yeah. Well, your execution is something that I really admire. I mean, you just watch the balls; they don't lie. You hit them right in the middle of the hole almost every time, and your break. Um, if your break's on, it's pretty scary. I mean,
Yeah.
people probably
Yeah.
don't want to play you after that.
Yeah, it's something I wish I could do a little better, consistently, and I don't. I think some of it in the style of pool that we're playing nowadays, where we're playing a lot of rack our own and whatnot. I give up on my rack. Things won't freeze, things won't this, I get irritated up there. I'm not donating my back to sweating over the rack, and I give up, compared to, there's a few people, Jonathan Hennessy, Alex Pagalion. God, I wish I had half of what they do. About, they do not give up on the rack, and it pays dividends. I mean, watch what they do. I mean, they're monsters, and they're monsters for reasons.
Okay. Yeah, that's what is it? It's more discipline, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely them not giving up on it. And yeah, it does have something to do with their self-discipline, which both of theirs is fabulous. And there are other players I can name. I mean, I'm sorry that I just, those are the ones that come off the top of my head, that make me think anything like that. To where, I guess for me, one of the questions you'd fire at me probably is, well, Jamie, your discipline is, pretty stellar. Why are you giving up on that, or why are you this or that? Well, it comes to a point sometimes where, like, racking the balls, after I've sat there and tried to rack the balls for 3-4 minutes and 37 tries, or whatever, that, yeah, I'm getting a little stiff standing over these balls. It's not worth me being detrimental to myself, that may affect my play over that. So sometimes there's a give and a take, and I'm not saying it's right. It never is. But what I am saying is, sometimes you got to take your own personal into into thought about that, because, like I said, what's in my bag ain't what's in your bag.
That's right. Okay, can you rewind the tape for us? Take us back to you as a kid, learning how to play pool, maybe a story or two that
Oh,
stands
I
out.
mean, I don't know how far back we can go. We can go back to, me being on the road pretty much now on my own, but at 15, 16 years old, Jackson, Mississippi, where, Ricky Price took me in, and kind of took care of me or whatever. And I mean, now granted, it was never any of my parents' fault or anything like that. This was all, everything was always self-inflicted. But I mean, I've been doing it all a long, 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 long time. I'm 48 years old. I'll be 49 here in 2 months. And I don't want to say I can see the end of the road, but physically, my neck's a loose box of gravel. So we'll see how long that goes. But I mean, I can think of so many things, whether it was old Neon Palace tournaments, which I remember one of their, 10,000 ads or whatever, when I think I was 16, getting beat in the finals by a guy from Michigan named Rick Graysick, who was a great player that, very, very few people knew who he was. And other things like that. I mean, I can also think back to, in the late 90s, where one of the first real victories that I had that to me meant something was double dipping Jose Perica in over in a big tournament in Iowa, double dipping him in the finals, and I three fouled him to end that tournament, made him no mas. It was, something like that'll stick with you forever, and that was right there at that moment where Jose was hands down the best bar table player. I mean, the guy was, just a monster. And I had such great respect and love for that guy, actually. I can remember, I don't know, I had to have been about 12, maybe 11 years old. And it was back during when Miller Time Billiards used to have put on the big tournaments. And I asked my mom, I said, "Hey, can I have a buddy stay the week?" And she never thought anything of it. My mom, Debbie Wilson, Mark Wilson. And so she said, "Yeah." Well, about 4 a.m. here come in walking the door, me and Jose, you know, uh, and they didn't care for that a whole lot. I remember getting in trouble for that, but yeah, Jose
You,
spent that
your
week
your
with me.
buddy's like in his 50s then, right?
Oh yeah, my buddy's in his 50s and we're out there eating pork rinds, watching Charles Bronson movies, and just yeah, I loved it. But there's just a lot of things from back when I was a kid, or Efren spent time in our household because of Mark and Deb, and how it boosted money too. And I mean, I remember playing thump games in the back seat driving tournaments with Efren, where man, he just beat the crap out of me with
What's
just
a thump game?
where you literally thump each other till you can't take it. It was funny. He's in his late 30s. He's, or hell, probably 40, and he was just like a wonderfully warm-hearted kid. We always had a lot of good times back then, or whatever. Back when I was young. I mean, there's I could just as far as stories go or whatever, we could this podcast could end on Sunday sometime. So,
Well, we
but
said we're gonna do two. The next one we're definitely gonna have Chris back on, and then you're gonna have some more stuff.
yeah, we'll have it
Gonna
probably a
tell
little bit
us.
more structured and all of that. But if we can help one person mentally with how they approach the game, or how they, I mean, a lot of what we talk about in pool, I think doesn't get the credibility for, it can roll over into our lives and make us a stronger, better person, and view things a lot differently. Because as pool players, I mean, we are problem solvers. I mean, that it's built into us, it's ingrained into us, and that's something I truly believe in. That when I've always had a job, and when you go to work and you talk with somebody or whatever, and they say, "Oh yeah, I play or I this, or I'm an APA 5 or whatever." Well, all that means to me is that you're wired already to want to solve problems, and it doesn't matter to you how you solve them, or who helps you, or how you go about things. Maybe that's just the interior pool player of me that wants to give that respect to people. And you know I don't know, I'd like to bet that a lot of people feel that way.
Well, I think a lot of people are going to benefit from this video if they're willing to watch it and apply some of the things that you have talked to me about. Um, the mental game's where it's at. But let's jump a little bit over to some competitions, some moments, or double dip and Parika. I mean, it can't really get much better than that. I'm not saying for you to top that one or anything, but like,
Okay, I can top that one.
okay.
um, I can't remember the name of the casino or whatever out there in Kansas or whatever, but they put on one of the one of these massive tournaments or whatever, that like I think it's the Chippewa or whatever, that has the one, or they had a couple of them last few years that were real big, like 20,000 at it or whatever, and Gomez won one, I think, or whatever. But I remember being out there. I can't remember what year it was. I want to say it was maybe 2010 or 2011. And at this time, uh, there was like a 7 or 8 year period where I don't care anybody else's opinion. James Walton was hands down the best bar table player in the world, and just flat one of the best players. Period. I mean, his
Hey,
bar.
someone not from Oklahoma is saying that. That's
Oh, it's a joke. I mean, the guy's abilities, and it wasn't just his abilities. His patterns were fabulous. On the bar table, sometimes you end up in bad positions where you need to fling or you need to this, that, and the other. James, all he ever did was make right decisions. I mean, he played. Oh my God, he played great. I mean, I remember him double dipping Chad Vilmont here in Mobile, Alabama one year. Chad had put him in the losers, and James walked outside, and I was already out of the tournament and standing there. And James said, "Well, looks like we're going the long way," and he just put a puzzling on Chad in the finals. And then I had to ride 12 hours home with him. Yeah, that was great.
with Chad.
Yeah, with Chad. And um but I can remember being out at the tournament in Kansas, and it's alternate the break, rack your own. James beats me for winner of the winners. He beats me 9-4, and I played good, or I thought I played good. And so I go to lose side, and I beat Danny Harriman to get back to play him, and I beat him 9-8, and we broke and ran out 15 of 17 times. And there's no magic rack. This is wood rack Valley bar table. And then so I consider myself lucky that I won that set, and we start the next set. I win the flip, I break run out. He breaks, squats dead. I mean, his break was great at that time. I'm sure you remember.
I can still imagine it right now.
Yeah, he breaks, squats dead perfect, makes 3 balls, gets kicked in the left side. So I run out 2-0. I break, run out 3-0. He breaks, squats dead perfect, makes 3 balls, gets kicked in the right side. I run out, break, run out 5-0. He breaks, Whitey squirrels around the table, goes in the corner. I run out 6-0. I break, run out 7-0. He breaks, flies Whitey off the table, turns around and says, "Jamie, I think I've had enough." And to me, that was a wonderful moment to just get him to quit, which, alternate the break, you get stuck too bad. It's pretty rough to come back, especially when the tables are cooperating or whatever. But, that's one of my most favorite moments, I guess, in my life. And, with pool, that just because I have unbelievable respect for that guy, especially, like I said, that 7-8 year period that dude was a bad dude.
Yeah, on a bar table too, or anything. But
yeah, well, I mean, come on, let's tell the story of Alex and Corey coming to Oklahoma there and trying to play him some one pocket back in the days. I think they left broke.
now I was young. I wasn't even a pool player, but my dad took me to watch the match, and I ended up sleeping under a pool table. But I didn't know anything. I didn't know who James Walden or Alex Paguline was.
Yeah, and that was very young Alex. He wasn't, what he became one pocket wise at that time. But it says a lot for anybody to ever been able to do anything with him, let alone, I think they were betting a lot too, 20,000 or, or more. I'm sure it was more knowing, that area. You guys.
What is the story? Because I don't know it.
I just remember James winning when I truly thought, this guy's out of his mind. You have no chance.
Yep.
But that, because I was not there for it. But there's a lot of good stuff out there like that where somebody got beat or got whatnot. I remember one of Chad Vilmont and me, we traveled together for about 13 years together. And I think the worst bad beat either one of us ever took. We were you can ask Evelyn Dysart about this. We were at one of her tournaments, and Billy Pay, rest his soul. He's gone now, but him and Chad are going to play this finals, and Chad's already won the winners. And a lot of people don't know Chad. Chad is unbelievable talent. Any of us that have got to watch when he was right and playing well. I mean, oh my God, what a unbelievably great player. Chad's already won the winners. Billy makes it back to him. They're going to play the finals. This is winner breaks. Chad's up 8-0. He breaks, plays it safe. Billy kicks at this ball, and the one in the cue ball go back, 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 and the cue ball drops in the pocket. And this then the tournament, there's a lot of nervous energy. You're walking around the table, Chad's chalking his cue. I mean, you can see it in him. And he walks over and unknowingly picks up the one ball thinking it's a cue ball. And I remember watching Evelyn walk over to him, and she's just standing there. She never said a word, and he kind of looks at her and makes a comment. And I'm pretty sure the comment wasn't very polite, because you're trying to end the tournament. Like, what the F are you doing here, or something like that. She says, "Why don't you look in your hand?" And he looks down, drops it in the pocket. Billy gets up and he hits him with the set.
With the set.
With the set. He hits him with 8 after that, runs a set on him.
Or that and then 8?
He was up 8-0. Yeah, Billy runs a set on him, beats him that set, wins the flip, opens with like a 3. I think Chad got 2 turns to the table and got beat like 9-1 or 9-2. And then I had to ride home with that guy. So
Billy who?
Billy Pay?
Billy Pay.
I believe that's right. God, I'm trying to think. He had another nickname. Man, I'm so sorry. I'm dyslexic. I tend to forget names very bad. But he was another great player. Don't get enough respect.
Picks up the ball and then
picks up the wrong ball, and have a good day, bud.
Wow.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, one pocket. You play one pocket?
I have played 4 or 5 one pocket tournaments, and other than that, I have not. And very oddly, I've top 10 at the Derby before in the one pocket and beat Orcolo and a handful of other good players, which is not supposed to happen. But in this day and age, the way one pocket's played and with these big, massive offenses, watch Federer or Shane or some of these guys, it can happen. It don't matter. I mean, a turd like me is never supposed to win that set. That's just the facts. I've had some pretty good success in it and have looked real good and looked like, God, Jamie plays terrible one pocket.
Just delete that. Delete that, guys.
Yeah, you ain't got to do that. I wasn't custom.
All right. So equipment. I want to talk about the rings that are on your cue that you showed me. That was pretty cool to see. And anything you want to tell us about your equipment that you play with?
I've been sponsored by Mike Durbin with Durbin Custom Cues for Jesus, makes me feel even older, for going on 24 years now. This last cue that I got from him, I've been playing with for a little over 4 years. It's ebony and white cue, we'll call it. And with some silver in it. It's sectional wraps, first sectional wrap cue I ever owned. Very, very expensive cue, five digits or more when it was built. And I know that he would probably not like to rebuild it. Matter of fact, there's a cue show going on there in Oklahoma coming this weekend, correct?
It's this weekend or next weekend, but
I believe he said he leaves Friday. I just got the phone with him about 20 minutes before we started to do this, and he will have another box cue with him out there that my lord, it's pretty impressive. But after playing with the sectional wrap cue, I don't know if I would go back due to the fact that I work and like I said, I like to set little things on how to make myself comfortable, this, that, and the other. I'm not saying everybody can do it, but I do like to use my rings as cheaters to make me feel comfortable. So
I want to explain. I want to kind of give a visual of what Jamie's saying here. So if the leather wrap is what, a foot long or so, you've got it broken up into 4 pieces of leather separated with rings in between of those. And he could put his hand on any one of those and feel the finish in between the leather wrap.
Uh, I just sent Colin a text. Hopefully, he'll get it and bring me the butt of my cue right now.
Okay.
That way we can go ahead and we just show it to you. Um, yeah, I'm very for it. Now keep in mind, I actually traded a couple items along with being, a 20+ year sponsor to get this cue. So, don't think that it's like normality that that cue makers give stuff away like this, because
He's
that
going to
is
be
definitely.
getting calls tomorrow.
Yeah, hey buddy, you need to do this and that for me. Yeah, it don't work like that.
No, you've earned everything that you've ever done. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I think if you were going to even go out and compete in 20 events a year now, I think that you'd have plenty of sponsors and people that would.
Oh, I think my body would fall apart if I tried
Okay, all right.
play to
12,
play 20
12.
events a year. It's kind of like, I guess I'm, a fanboy a little bit of Shane Van Boning, even though, he started on that casino tour with, a lot of us and whatnot, and what he became is well, I mean, it's legendary. But a lot of people don't really realize the amount of work um the amount of work that guy put in. I mean, I can remember watching the guy hit balls for 12 hours, go to put the rack up, and somebody be like, you want to play a set, or you want this or that? Yep. And just years and years of it. Nobody um that I've ever seen has ever put in that much work. And when I was a kid, the stories of Earl were legendary for training sessions and stuff like that. And uh, I'm telling you, Shane, what that guy did, probably still does do. Yeah, you'd literally be like, "What's that on the floor?" Oh, that's Jamie's arm. Because that's what my body would reject that. So here we go with
Now this is what is called a box cue. Obviously, you can
yep,
see the
and
boxes.
it's windows over windows. So and you can basically see how my wrap and all that good little stuff
Mhm.
you know kind of looks. And you know uh it's it's an impressive piece of art
Probably,
that
probably worth a used car.
yeah, pretty nice one. It's a piece of art that I turned into a battle axe because man, if you I'm gonna play with it, and I'm not the softest dude. I'm not gonna be over there wiping it down with the towel and this, that, and the other. And it definitely it definitely
Been
has
played
some
with.
things that yeah, it's been played with. And I always find it comical, when people approach me about something, it or whatever. And it's like, here, hit a couple balls, and that they just kind of look at me like, you're kidding, right? No, hit a few balls, and then they're up, they're all tense with it and whatever. And I'm like, dude, I mean, sorry, but yeah, I tend to beat it up a little bit. But
I'm sure
that's
you've
what it was
never
made for.
dropped it ever.
Huh?
I'm sure you've never dropped it.
Oh, it's been thrown. I ain't gonna lie. It's definitely been chucked on the floor before. I mean, hey, that's just shows how good the cue maker is, and honestly, Mike's doing some stuff that other people aren't doing, especially some of the interlocking coring that he does with some of the full splice cues and whatnot. Look, the, they're pretty special. Now, granted,
They're made to be played with.
absolutely, they're made to be played with. Now most people would think that I'm, just plugging my sponsor or whatever, but look, I'm not in need of the money. So I'm not trying to say I'm well off or whatever, but what little money that any of us ever received from sponsors, this, that, and the other, I just want something that I'm gonna play the best with, that I'm gonna win with, that I cannot want to pull my own hair out. So that's where I am. I mean, that's you look back through my career or whatever. I mean, I played with a John Showman that he made for me for a couple years, and I would probably cut a finger off to get that cue back. But look, at one time, us pool players, I got broke. Things happen. Sometimes, well, we hack off everything we got to make sure that our families and home lives are still all right. And I hate that, but when you're playing with the $8,000, $10,000 queue or whatever, and things go bad, well, I can move over to something that's lesser, and life's still fine and normal. But that's been a long time now. We're talking 15, 20 years, 15, at least 15 years ago. But I mean, uh, one of my good friends, Rick Howard, I played with one of his pieces of equipment for a while, during my young years and whatnot, and very, very thankful to still be friends with Rick, somebody that builds absolutely, fabulous equipment. Um, I've
Ah,
been pretty blessed throughout my life.
jump cues. You're a good jumper of the ball. Um, I'm gonna say you're gonna hit the ball like every time. That's not a question. It's a matter of whether you're making it and getting in shape. I watched a few jump shots this week or two ago.
Yeah, but that has a lot to do with the equipment we're playing on and playing with now, compared to if you want to go back in time. It's kind of like most people have known me my whole life or whatever. They'd pick the cube I play with now and be like, oh my God, this thing's almost 21 ounces. I can't believe you play with this. I played with like a 17 3/4 or 18-ounce cube the majority of my career because, well, I had big, massive stroke and this, that, and the other. I could get away with it, but that lighter cue allowed my elevated game to be extra special. And that was also when we were using leather tips and you'd play tournaments where, oh, no jump cue. You can jump with your full cue. Okay, no problem. I mean, I believe Reno was that way for a long while. But there's probably a few others. But
Well, what kind of jump cue do you use?
uh it matches my cue. Uh
It's
it
a
was
Durkin.
when Kelly and Mike got married, which I guess it was me and my wife's fault they ended up together. Mike built me that, and it matches my playing cue.
What kind of tips on it?
There is actually I guess I'm probably the only dummy out here not using something synthetic or whatnot. I'm using a Andy Gilbert Gator, one of his brake tips, which it's just leather. It's just a hard leather tip. Nothing special.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm kind of lost my train of thought here. I want to ask maybe one or two more things, then get off here, and then we're gonna have some of our audience ask a few questions for you on the next one. But
Yeah, that'd be just fine.
um, let's talk a little bit about um your favorite players growing up, and then maybe your favorite players now to watch.
Okay, well, that's kind of loaded. Favorite players, well, Ralph Souquet is going to be in there. There's no other human being that has ever held themselves like Ralph. And if anybody can ever learn anything from any pool player, I would like to learn how to hold and compose myself 20% of what that man can do, let alone the fact that his abilities, his patterns, just about everything he's ever done is fabulous. Uh, just unbelievably great player. Um, I don't know. I just always had that massive amount of respect for him. Look, I love watching Shane play Van Boning. He's a great player. Um, Dennis is so detailed. He's just frightening, especially when it starts to roll a little bit right for him and he looks hungry. I don't know if anybody can get there. He's just absolutely frightening. And then we got to go into the fight.
When he starts moving around the table fast like that.
Yeah, he's a bad dude. And then we got to go into fine wine, and fine wine it's got to be boost the money. I can't really think of anybody else that has approached his age. That dude, probably the greatest offensive weapon we've ever seen. I mean, just scary. I mean,
I
just
remember asking James Walden, I think I was old enough to drive, 16, 17 years old. I asked James Walden, I said, people say you're the best player around. He said, yeah, I'm one of them. And I said, well, who is the best? And he just immediately says Francisco Bustamante.
yeah,
I didn't know who that was. I had to like go look him up, and I saw his
yeah.
cue like this
Oh yeah, all
compared
over
to
the place, out sideways, and that last
compared
stroke's pure and straight.
compared to James, who's doing like the
Well,
pop.
and James's short, stroke was a lot shorter, um, for sure. But boost money, Jesus. I
I
mean,
asked him.
and
I
here's
said,
the thing:
"Wow."
it ain't
I
ever
said, "Why is
changed.
he?"
I
I said,
mean,
"Why is he? Was he the best?" Bustamante. He said, "Well, he could just do things with that cue ball that other people can't." And I was like, "Okay."
yeah, he just, and it wasn't just doing stuff with the cue ball. I mean, some of the butterfly cuts and whatnot that some of us like to play around when we're warming up or hitting balls to make ourselves feel good or whatever. Well, he did it hill under pressure in the end of tournaments, and I mean, he didn't care. He just he's just a bad dude, man. I mean, and he was great and fun to watch. He wasn't, a character and whatnot, like, some of these people that make it fun to watch or whatever. It was fun to watch because what he may do may just make you go, what what did I just watch? I didn't see that.
Okay, so there's my answers on the players. How can people get a hold of you? We're going to do a part two here in a few weeks, but how can people get a hold of you? Uh, just to bug you to death for free
That's
pool
funny. I
instruction.
have zero social media. My kid gives me a little grief because I'm probably like I don't know, Rasheed Wallace or Charles Barkley back in the days. I mean, they didn't sign autographs for all the companies, and because we collected sports memorabilia, and we've had a lot of fun, me and my son. But so yeah, there really is none. I mean, it's either
Okay.
you kind of know me or you don't. And I'm sure there'll probably be a handful of people that, see this with me and you and think, how did Sean ever get Jamie to agree to that? I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, why did you?
I'm getting older. Uh no, 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 no. And look, I'm not gonna try to sound egotistical or anything like that, but uh maybe I would like to pass certain things off or on or whatever. But um I don't see that being one-on-one for 100 an hour or whatever people charge for lessons nowadays that are on certain levels or whatever. But I do love the fact to get to talk about the mental aspects of the game. And it should really show you something, like when we were in Shreveport or whatever, and we're standing outside, that was a pretty potent group of us standing out there. You know what I'm talking? Me, you, Joey, Al,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good players out there. And when we really started to talk about some of the in-depth to the mental side of the game and the discipline and whatnot, I think it caught me a little off guard on how interested they were. And, like, I mean, how much respect I have for them guys for being warriors and battling and whatnot, for them to kind of, well, you're done talking, Jamie, and it just kind of shocked me a little to make me think, okay, well, maybe somehow, some way we need to talk more about this. And yeah, that's enjoyable to me, I guess, a little bit.
Well, it's been really good. I personally could talk to you about mental game stuff probably all night, but we gotta cut this shorter than an hour. And like
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm gonna compile some questions,
Yeah,
mostly about mental game stuff and pressure. But let's see what some other people have to ask. We'll
yeah,
have
that's fine. I mean, I'm open to whatever. Thanks for having me on. Man, I'll talk to you again soon, Sean.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie.
All right,
Appreciate
bye.
it.
Be good.
Bye.
Bye.